Hello, this is TurboDog702, and this is another part of the Castlevania Symphony of the Night Any Percent tutorial. In this video, I will be covering basic Richter mechanics, and while you may not be playing with Richter for the majority of your run for Any Percent, it is important that you understand some of the mechanics for the character in order to do the Any Percent route. These mechanics are also very important if you decide to pick up the Any Percent Richter route, which is another popular category, and quite a bit of fun. Inside of this video, we will be covering the basic mechanics of the item crash, running, air slashing and ground slashing, the neutral whip flick move, it's probably the best name that I can come up with it, Richter's version of the gravity boots, backflipping, slide kicking, and chaining slide kicks, which is one of the basic speed techs for the character. So let's jump right in. Alright. So, right off the bat, just to cover some very basic things, you'll notice that Richter has some pretty basic movements, you know. He can move left, right, up, down, crouch. He can jump. He whips just with his basic attack button. If you press up an attack, he uses a sub-weapon, much in the same way as Alucard, although his sub-weapons can somewhat be different. I have Holy Water on kind of for that reason. You'll notice that if Alucard threw his Holy Water, it would just make a small fire. Richter's makes a line of fire. The first mechanic, and one of the most major ones for Richter, is his ability to use what's called the item crash. In order to do that, you press the triangle button on PlayStation, or I believe it's the Y button on the Xbox version of the game. And it allows Richter to use a large amount of hearts in order to do a more powerful attack. When you're talking about Richter, a few of these item crashes are very relevant. The most important of which is Holy Water, which casts Hydro Storm. The others being the knife sub-weapon and the axe sub-weapon. If I were to press triangle with the Holy Water out, you'll notice that this is the normal Holy Water, and this is the weapon crash. You'll also notice that you used quite a bit more hearts for me in order to use the weapon crash. You'll notice also that Richter has the ability to run, which is something that Alucard cannot do. In order to run, it is very similar to the way that Alucard's wolf runs. You tap forward quickly twice, and hold it on the second press, so it's forward, hold, forward. So 2 presses, hold the second one. Something to note with this run is you can actually hold forward and jump, still holding forward, and he will maintain his run. So you can easily run and jump without having to worry about double tapping forward in between your jumps. The other ability that he has is his whip flick, which I mentioned before, which if you hold his basic whip attack button, his whip goes limp, and you can press directions in order to flick it in different directions. This doesn't have much use, but if you're the casual player or doing the casual run of this game, it can be used to block projectiles, which is important. You can also do it while crouching. You can also do it if you're falling down from a large jump. His gravity boots move is basically what allows Richter to complete most of the game. By doing down, up, jump, just like Alucard's gravity boots, you'll notice that Richter can shoot very high into the air. This can actually be chained together, which allows Richter to basically fly. Something to note that's slightly different from the Alucard version of this is even pressing exactly down and up and jump will make Richter go a little bit towards the direction he's facing, in this case left. Another move that Richter has access to is the backflip, which can be done by quickly tapping X twice in succession. This doesn't have too much use on its own, but it does become relevant on a intermediate technique, which is the slide into backflip, but that will be covered in another video. Something to note about the backflip is during the backflip you are considered airborne and can do certain moves as a result of that. The most important of which, and probably the other important move other than the gravity boots for Richter, is known as the air slash, which looks like this. The air slash can also be chained in the air in order to move vast amounts of distance deal damage to enemies, and keep Richter invincible as he does it. Using these two techniques is the majority of what Richter play ends up being at a high level. You can also do the air slash on the ground, and it has different properties. In order to do the air slash, you press up, then down, then the diagonal in between down and forward, and attack. You can actually do different motions and still get this move, such as up, then down, then roll your finger from down to forward and attack, or a motion similar to the wing smash, holding up, rolling your finger to back, then rolling your finger to down, then rolling your finger to forward. So it's a 3/4 circle starting from up and ending at forward. All of these will give you the air slash. However, if you're looking at playing Richter at a very high level, you should focus on the 3-input version, the up, down, and the diagonal in between down and forward in attack. And as I showed you, you can chain these multiple times in the air, and that's how Richter gets a lot of his air mobility, is in combination with the gravity boots and that. I mentioned that the backflip allows you to be aerial. From the backflip, you can do air slashes, although I'm not the best at it. There we go. That should cover most of the basic moves for Richter. And I will cover some of the more intermediate stuff, including the damage stack that is important for the ending percent run, in another intermediate mechanics video for Richter. But for now, that'll be it for this session. This is TurboDog702 for the Castlevania Symphony of the Night Any% tutorial.